Kourtney Kardashian is finally speaking out on Kris Jenner abandoning her, and fans are now accusing Kris of blackballing Kourtney.
I don't think it's even about talking to my mom about it. I think it's like we all have different experiences with my mom.
Despite being Kris Jenner's firstborn child, Kourtney's relationship with Kris has always been very complicated, and rumors are going around that Kourtney and Kris are no longer on speaking terms. Kourtney recently launched a new business, and while Kris is constantly promoting her other children's ventures on social media, she's been strangely silent about Kourtney, and she even refused to tag Kourtney in a recent family photo. So why is Kris ignoring Kourtney? Did they really have a falling out?
Well, that's really not fair. It's just like, I can't even live my life. I can't even go anywhere.
Several insiders have revealed that Kris Jenner has abandoned her oldest child, Kourtney, and rumors are going around that Kris is bitter because Kourtney won't let her profit from her new business. But let's start with some context. Kris and Kourtney's relationship has never been easy, and they've actually had several serious altercations since the family's reality show was launched back in 2007. To give you just a few examples, during season 1 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kourtney wanted to get married in Las Vegas to her now ex-boyfriend Scott Disick. However, Kris talked her out of it.
You look really pretty, but this is wrong. You've got hot pink flowers and you're standing under plastic roses. Now, I know you. It's not about the things. I don't mean to make it about that, but this feels wrong. You're rushing it. Bruce isn't here. Your little sisters aren't here. They would die if they thought they weren't your bridesmaids. Where are his parents?
Right.
Where's his family? You know, this is about family.
And yes, in hindsight, this was a good decision because Scott definitely wasn't the one. And Kourtney is now married to Travis Barker. But the point is that Kris was always trying to get into Kourtney's business and control her. Also, Kourtney seemed really happy with Scott back then, and they both wanted to tie the knot. And yet Kris made it all about her and everyone else instead of making it about Kourtney and Scott. Besides that, it seems like Kourtney still holds a lot of resentment towards Kris because Kourtney was very close to her late father, Robert Kardashian Sr., and Kris broke up the family when she cheated on Robert with former professional soccer player Todd Waterman. During one episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kourtney and Kris had an explosive argument over Kris's affair after Kris tried to compare her cheating with Todd to Kourtney having a relationship with her then-boyfriend Eunice Benjima. But as Kourtney pointed out, her situation with Eunice was completely different because she wasn't married to Scott. They weren't even in a relationship at the time.
You only remember with Todd or this or that, but
I don't sit there and dwell about Todd.
no, we're not saying that. But
You have your own Todd right now.
No, I actually don't. I'm actually not married,
right, but
and I'm not having an affair. You can't compare one to the other. That's absolutely not true.
Also, keep in mind that Kourtney was 12 years old when her father Robert divorced Kris, which means she probably vividly remembers how much pain and drama Kris caused to the family with her affair, and it's really messed up for Kris to compare what she did to Kourtney dating Eunice. But this wasn't the only time Kris tried to humiliate Kourtney on their reality show. After Kourtney finally ended things with Scott for good, Kris suddenly started pressuring her to get married to Scott, and Kardashian fans speculated that Kris only wanted Scott to stay around because he was entertaining for the show.
And I think he fits well with all of us because we've all been around each other for so long. I think at this stage, from what he tells me, he would love for it to be you and him.
He's a talker.
And even after Kourtney made it clear that she wants to date someone else after spending years being on and off with Scott, Kris still tried to shame her for trying to live her life.
I think he was jealous because you were having fun, spending time with other people.
Well, that's really not fair. It's just like, I can't even live my life. I can't even go anywhere. He needs to get a life and leave me alone.
But all these personal issues aside, it seems like the main reason Kris is now allegedly abandoning Kourtney is money. As you all probably know, Kris manages all of her children and apparently takes 10% from the Kar Jenner's businesses. Kourtney herself hired Kris to manage her back in 2008. However, it seems like Kris never trusted Kourtney to make it big, and she decided to focus on her two most profitable daughters, Kim and Kylie. In fact, Kris even missed Kourtney's first ever photo shoot as her manager because back then, she was too busy trying to push Kim into the spotlight following Kim's private tape scandal.
I decide to hire my mom as my manager, see how things go.
Kourtney's telling me you guys have asked her to do the cover of 944. Is that a guaranteed cover?
Guaranteed.
Because I've had issues before.
When asked which of her children tried to fire her the most times, Kris replied, Kourtney probably 3 or 4 times, and that's just a day. Well, rumors are now going around that Kourtney finally managed to escape Kris's clutches and got herself a new manager. Apparently, this didn't go over too well with Kris, and fans are now speculating that Kris is ignoring Kourtney on purpose and refusing to promote her business ventures just just because she can't make her 10%. These rumors first started circulating back in April 2022 when Kris shared a promo photo of Hulu's The Kardashians and tagged every family member except Kourtney. Instead of tagging Kourtney's personal IG account, Kris tagged Kourtney as Hulu. Fans immediately started speculating that Kris and Kourtney had a falling out, with some even claiming that Kourtney blocked Kris on Instagram. It's also very odd that Kris didn't post any photos of Kourtney at the 2022 Oscars, despite Kourtney being the first Kardashian-Jenner member to attend the event. And then, just a few months later, Kourtney appeared on the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast, and she revealed that a lot has changed in terms of the Kardashian family dynamic since she got married to Travis, and she even threw some subtle shade at her sisters Kim and Khloe for ganging up on her.
It was like Kim was kind of like the outsider.
She was.
For years.
Yeah.
And I feel like she could handle that because she's like, could handle that like being on her own vibe. But like, how does it feel now where it does kind of seem like it's more Kim and Khloe?
The reason? Because the two were having babies at the same time.
I think that when Khloe was pregnant with True, and then I think, was Kim pregnant? Did they have kids?
Oh, they had kids at the same time.
She had a surrogate at that time,
Right.
maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just felt like they really
Bonded.
like they were going through the same things. That's when I was unhappy with the show.
Mm-hmm.
Partially because of them too, kind of ganging up. I felt like it was almost everything that Khloe and I had done to Kim, and then they were like kind of flipping it on me. It was like everything. And then, I mean, to be like pushed to the point of like, not that anyone pushed me, but it was like the daily stuff to where I like had the rage inside to like scratch my sister.
Kourtney insisted that she and her sisters are good. However, she also added that they're in different places and family life is simply not the same anymore.
We're good,
but it's not it's the same.
I think just life isn't the same.
Yeah, life.
I think I'm in a different place. I think some of us more than others like feel the need to distance sometimes, or just do our own thing, have our own thing. It can be like all so interconnected.
Right.
After Kourtney's comments went viral, a lot of fans said that Kim and Khloe were jealous of Kourtney because she found love and got married. Plus, ever since Kourtney started dating Travis, she's been even more unbothered and confident than usual, which must irritate Kim and Khloe. One fan said, Kourtney is in a happy relationship. Kourtney is secure with her face and body. Kourtney is the likable one. Of course, Kim and Khloe are jealous. And now reports recently emerged that Kourtney hasn't talked to her family members in months, and she's allegedly not even speaking to her mom, Kris. Fans noticed that Kris completely ignored the recent launch of Kourtney's Lemmy Purr gummies, but she continued to post every Skims, Good American, and Kylie Cosmetics drop. Kris has also been heavily promoting Kendall's tequila brand, 818 Tequila, and she even manages her reclusive son, Rob's Instagram account. So why is Kris refusing to promote Kourtney's businesses? Because even if she no longer manages Kourtney, it's strange she doesn't want to help out her own daughter. Well, fans have a lot of theories about this. While some of them are convinced Kris is all about the cash and she's mad that she can't make 10% from Kourtney's business ventures, others are speculating that Kourtney herself told Kris not to post her or tag her in anything. One Reddit user said, Kris probably has a huge stake in deals with Kim and Kylie. She's reposting for money, not because they're family. I have a feeling that Kourtney did the Lemmy deal by herself and didn't want Kris involved. I also believe those two are currently not on speaking terms and possibly may have had a falling out. It's definitely a combination of factors. Fans are now dragging Kris and the rest of the Jenner sisters for ignoring Kourtney, and they're calling them hypocrites because they've been shaming Kourtney for years for not having a business and accusing her of being lazy. But now that Kourtney started something of her own without her momager's help, they're showing zero support. Weren't they screaming at Kourtney to get a job and start a business for years, one fan said? And now that she is, they're all mad. So how does Kourtney feel about the lack of support from her mom and the rest of the family? Well, sources close to Kourtney are saying that she's as unbothered as ever and actually is enjoying the peace and quiet that comes from not dealing with the Jenners on a daily basis. Kourtney has also been getting love from her fans, sharing cute and unedited photos of her and Travis on Instagram, while her sisters Kim, Khloe, and Kylie, and even her mom Kris have been under a lot of backlash lately for editing their photos beyond recognition. Kris Jenner fans are now saying it's probably a good thing Kourtney decided to distance herself from her family and her mom, Kris, because Kris never treated Kourtney the same as her other daughters. Kris is the problem, one fan said. She treats Kourtney completely differently. No wonder Kourtney isn't close to her. And another person added, it's because Kris resents Kourt for not making it easy for her to manipulate her decisions in her career and personal life. Kim and the others are her puppets and moneymakers, while Rob and Kourt live life on their terms. I can respect them for that. But let's hear your thoughts on this. What's the real reason Kris is ignoring Kourtney and not promoting her businesses? Let us know what you think in the comments. And if you thought that this situation was messy, wait till you watch this next video.